Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm your host, Rob Younts, and thank you for tuning back into the CaneCast Show. If today's your first episode, you're in for a treat. If you've been with us before, we really appreciate you coming back. But either way, today's guest is the director of the Cane Southwest. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Please help us grow the show. You can do it in many ways. First and foremost, smashing that like button. Whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast host, give us a like. 2, drop a comment to let us know what you like or don't like about the show. 3, you can help us grow the community by subscribing. This lets others know that this show is legit. You could show us some love with a review. Or 5, you could share this. Send this link of this show to your friends and enemies who are missing baseball right now. Today we are talking with Zac Senf. He directs our Cane Southwest program and serves as an assistant coach on our 17 American team. Zac has been a Canes affiliate now for 3 years. Listen to what drew him to the Canes, as well as his experience inside the program.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Younts here, and Jeff Petty with another episode.
Let's get right to Coach Senf.
Jeff, how's it going, buddy? How you been this morning?
Grinding away, Rob. Just another day. Groundhog's Day.
That's exactly right. And I'm asking the same question every time. Well, today we're joined with an awesome guest, fairly new to the Canes family, but a great family member nonetheless. Zac Senf with our Cane Southwest program. How's it going today, buddy?
It's going well, man. How are you guys?
We're doing all right. Trying to, as Jeff said, we're doing these things. It's kind of like Groundhog Day every day. Don't know what day it is. It's just the same as the day before. You staying safe down in Texas?
Trying to, man. It's crazy. It's a different world we're living in right now. But I'm hoping we all get to see each other soon, and everyone stays safe, and we all come out of this better than we went into it for sure. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everybody's hurting for baseball, so now's a great time for us to be talking. You're one of our newer affiliates, and we're super excited to have you. You've had your guys have had big impact, throughout baseball. Tell us a little bit about the background with how you became part of Cane Southwest. Tell us about your program before and how you brought it on board, and how we integrated all of that.
For sure. I think just kind of a brief history of my experience in travel ball. I was with a group out of North Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, for quite some time with two guys that are pretty much my mentors really in the game, and they're very well known down around here. And we were just kind of known as the club that did more with less. And we did a really good job. And so I learned the back end of the business. I learned, the baseball part of it. And so anyhow, my heart was always in Austin, Texas, man. Went to grad school down here and just loved the Hill Country, came back to the Hill Country. We started a program called Southwest Elite. And we had a little bit of success early on. And then I think the transition and segue really what kind of brought it on, and it's crazy how it happened, is we were just a Wilson, we just wore Wilson uniforms really. And so kudos to Wilson and those guys for the great things they had done for us and through all the different brands and all that. But anyhow, I was a big fan of Wilson, the Louisville Slugger, DeMarini, all those things. And so we were Southwest Elite, we're wearing the Wilson uniform stuff, and our rep down here knew Dan Gitson really, really well. And I think that, to my knowledge, these guys were kind of looking to get back into Texas and in this area. And, I feel like we were a suitable I think after Dan doing some due diligence on myself and the club and then what we had put in with Wilson at the time, our rep with Wilson, his name is J.J. Ethel, outstanding guy, phenomenal human being, came to me and said, "Hey, man, do you want to be a part of Canes?" And I was just like, "Evo Shield Canes?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Been talking to Jim about it." And I was like, wow, like, Man, that is if there was, I never had any intentions, and I've told Jeff this before and Dan this before, I never had any intentions of doing. I was going to be a grassroots club and see where it went, and that was it. And long story short, if there was ever one club that ever came to us and said, "Hey, we want you to be a part of it," like I kid you guys not, it was this club, and so that's kind of how the whole transition happened of how we became Canes, man. Pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't heard I had not heard the full story before this, so that's really cool. There's some some bits and pieces there that I'm hearing for the first time. Jeff, tell me how it's gone from it's not always easy bringing in another an organization and putting them under our roof. Tell me how the experience has been from your part as far as where we are right now.
Yeah, no, for me it's been awesome. I mean, I jive real well with Zach on the field. He wants to win. He's scrappy. He cares about the kids. So we see eye to eye on those things. And at the end of the day, man, that's what we're doing. We're baseball coaches. So, I mean, and we've talked about this openly. I mean, I was at the ABCA in Dallas, and I was just kind of starting to get to know Zach a little bit better. I mean, obviously we knew each other, but starting to get to know each other a little bit better and actually spend some time with each other. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, if you can do this thing on your own, like he doesn't need the Canes to grow his brand. I mean, he could just grow it on his own like he was doing.
Right.
But he wants to be a part of the Canes program, and he's kind of carrying that name. And we want his business to thrive.
Sure.
In his area. I mean, that's what we want. We don't want him. The whole goal is that everyone does well. It's not a one-sided deals don't work.
Right.
But Zach came on and coached with us last summer. He's our hitting coach with the American team. Did a great job, and when they weren't playing, he spent some time with our kids too and got to know them as well. And kind of guys you want around. I mean, competitive guys, like I said, cares about the kids, and you hope that if the Canes thing can help him grow his business, great. And then it makes the name, it glorifies the name, so to speak, in areas that wouldn't be there, it wouldn't be happening if he wasn't doing it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's Zach, as well as anybody how competitive the Texas market is. Competitive baseball wise, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of teams all throughout the state. I mean, it is super, super competitive. Tell us a little bit about how your Canes Southwest team is set up. I mean, what age groups and how can people find you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
A little
Sorry
fast
about
for a minute. Hit Rob. Hit me with that question again.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how your Canes Southwest team is set up. How's the organization there? What age groups do you have? How do people find you? How can people find you?
No doubt, man. I think we're kind of standard across the board as far as the age groups go with kind of the youth select and then your high school showcase travel club type stuff. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, we now have 8U teams, and we run all the way through, a collegiate league, honestly. So, I mean, we go 8U to 18U here, and a lot of people, I've noticed, man, a lot of people don't do 18U ball anymore. And so we actually kind of had that 18U team, pre-college team as well, and we look to have 2 of them this year. Lord willing, if we play baseball. But we've had enough guys commit to play college baseball down here that we're actually going to have 2 teams play a pre-collegiate schedule this summer. So 8 to 18, and and like I said, I'll be the first one to tell you, man. I've told people I'm kind of the anti-select ball guy. I think there's a space for us. I think with Jeff and you, I don't even know if you remember, Rob, but we played against each other before. And what you guys do, I think why I was so excited about the opportunity and why I'm so anti certain things in select ball is exactly what you guys embody. Like, you guys are out there doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is teaching kids to win, and for a plethora of reasons, a litany of reasons, right?
Right.
And and then helping them achieve their goals. I mean, and everyone always throws the money aspect into this deal. And it's like, come on, guy, and here's the reality. Anybody that's good at anything, it is what it is. There's money involved. So that argument always wears me out, honestly. But
Right.
we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
And if you're good at what you do and you do it for free for everyone, well, then you're going to get taken advantage of, man. We have to make it too. So anyhow, I know that wasn't exactly the question you asked.
No, that's great. I mean, because it's perfect. It embodies everything that people need to understand about this is, what really comes first, and what, I think we're talking about on all of these podcasts is how much, the coaches dedicate their time. They work really hard behind the scenes, and ultimately how much we care. It's very difficult to, a lot of times sometimes that gets lost in translation. It gets lost in the overall message. But I think, one of the things in every, all of our Canes coaches, Dan and Jeff and you and Millsy, the guys that we've gotten on here, is really getting that, pulling back the curtain a little bit so people can see that, because that's at the core of everything we do. I know that's true with you, just from all my interactions with you, I believe that to be 100% true. Trying to help those kids in whatever way, whatever manner we can, and have an impact on their life is hugely important. I mean, that's why we coach, right? Otherwise we'd go be the world's best backgammon player or poker player or video game player, whatever, wherever we could get our competitive outlet, golf, whatever. But we choose to do it. I always, in business, some of the guys that I mentor in that little mentor circle that I have, you talk about being either a king or a kingmaker. And we, as choosing to spend our time as coaches, choose to be that kingmaker. We want to help everybody and help elevate everybody to get better. And it's awesome to hear you say that, because to me, it's really important in what we do. And it's kind of how we base our Canes family. And I think that's why you fit in so well so far with us is just that, you're willing to do whatever it takes to help your kids and help the organization. And I think that's why we're a little different. We are a family. It's not just, hey, that's your team. You run it however you want. Jeff is pushed from the top down. Jeff and Dan have pushed from the top down for it to be, hey, this is our standard. This is how we do things. And you mentioned winning, and that's hugely, hugely important, because people treat winners differently. I mean, we see that every day as adults. We want to teach that to our kids, right? We want to make sure they get that message. There's a lot of messages that we all deliver. It's really cool to see that as you've assimilated into us, and you're grasping those core beliefs and those core tenets to keep pushing forward. How has being a part of the Canes impacted Canes Southwest? I mean, how has that impacted your Southwest elites into now Canes Southwest?
To me, you look at everything, right? Everything you do in this world, man. And my dad was just always that simple guy, right? Man, put it on paper, the good and the bad. And so when I write it down, I put it on paper, I'm like, I don't see the bad.
Right.
I mean, if I have to write it down, I don't see the bad. The other guy on this podcast right here, man, he, I'll tell you, there's some head bumping between Jeff and I think at times, because I think we're very similar guys and we're after the same things. And taking what he has done, and I've told people this a billion times, if all you have to do with what Jeff Petty and Dan and you guys have done and built with this brand and this name, all you have to do is not screw it up. All you have to do is not screw it up. That's how good this name is. That's how well respected it is. That's how respected all you guys are. And all you have to do is not screw it up. We've given some guys some opportunities here in the state of Texas, kind of under my wing, and prior to me being involved, Jeff and Dan, some guys were a part of Canes for just a short bit of time, and it just amazes me. To me there are no cons. Do what you're supposed to do it right, and you'll reap the rewards of it. So
absolutely.
I mean, it's all on the right side of the page for me, man. I mean, I'm blessed for sure to be a part of it. There's no doubt.
Good, man. That's awesome. And that's, as you get into these types of relationships, you certainly want to, look back and say, wow, I'm in a better spot now. My teams are maybe stronger, or I've helped more kids, or whatever the case may be. And it's nice to hear that, because I think that, I think a lot of times when those affiliates come on board, that's obviously the goal, right, Jeff? I mean, you want to help them grow. You want to help them reach more kids, and especially in a competitive market like Texas, there, as I said, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of teams out there. What kind of things, Jeff, have you and Zac talked about, as far as helping him grow and expand his footprint there in Texas? And I know some of his players have been up with the national and the American team and things like that. And, what kind of things have you guys talked about with regards to Texas?
I mean, I just think you talk about just reaching as many kids as you can, help as many kids as you can. That's the goal. The talent through the program, having the sense of, like, you got Jay up in Indiana in that, that area. And then Zac had a lot to do with bringing Tyler in Georgia. And we got the Florida Hurricanes is underneath our wing. And then we've got our Canes group and then our national groups. And the sense of that we can all, well, heck, I mean, me, Tyler, Zac, and Jay and Dan were on group text talking about putting a team together for the Perfect Game World Series this summer. And, we were just going to take like a scout team put 20 kids together, really, with all of us. And if you think about it, if all of us really did that, you'd put a competitive team on.
A really good team, right?
It might not be, you might not have Caden Grice and Mackenzie Gore, first rounders out there, but you're going to have, if we all sit down and really put pen to pad, like, we would put a scrappy team out there that would represent the brand well. Because we were looking at the schedule, and not to get off track, but you're talking about leaving Atlanta, and then 24 hours later you got to be in Phoenix. And then some guys were going to have to leave there and go to East Coast Pro, and then leave there and go to area code games. That's child abuse. It's just too much baseball.
It is.
So we were going to talk about identifying some really good players that didn't have to go to East Coast Pro, and whatever. But I think it's reach more kids, and then obviously Perfect Games bringing that complex down to Austin, and that could really benefit, Zac's brand and. Sure. And things like that. So we talked a little bit about that. But, I think the key is you don't tell Zac how to run his clubs. I mean, you just try to help any way you can. And, he's obviously doing a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, what you bring up a good point there is I know, there have been affiliates that have come on board maybe for a short time and realized, maybe the fit wasn't there because I think they wanted somebody to help them run it. And it's important to bring on a partner, like Zac, that, obviously fits culturally, but also doesn't need us, the Canes, when I say us, doesn't need us to run their franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, you want somebody who's going to run it, right? I mean,
we've talked about bringing a California group or a West Coast group on for years, and we talked to different people, and it's just not a fit. If it's transactional, it's not a fit.
Right.
And we can look up in 10 years and we're all still working together. That's pretty cool.
Right.
That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Zac, how has this impacted your players? I mean, give us a little bit of insight there since, what kind of changes you've seen or what kind of maybe, I don't know, tell me a little bit about how this arrangement or how this affiliation has impacted your guys.
The same reason why when I was presented with the opportunity to come on board with Canes, I think it's the same idea for our players, and that being again, I don't care who you are in travel ball in this country, and we tell people this all the time. And again, this isn't trying to fluff an ego of anyone that's whether it be Jeff or Dan or you or anyone that's been a part of this club for a long time and know what you guys have done. But here's the reality, and this is what I tell people all the time: you can wear Johnny Action hat right here into a ConocoPhillips gas station in San Diego, California, and a McDonald's in Tallahassee, Florida. And the likelihood, right, of people knowing what that logo on that cap is slim to none. And you walk in with that C, and Jeff knows what a proud guy I am, and I wear it proudly, and I'm proud to be a part of it. You walk into those same 2 gas stations with that cap on, and there's someone in there that has anything to do with baseball, they know exactly what that hat is. They know exactly what it is, and
that's cool.
How does that not benefit my players?
Well,
Right?
and what's cool about that too is that and I apologize for cutting you off, but you now play a very sizable role in helping that. So,
Right.
but yeah, go ahead back to your players. I apologize, but I wanted to make sure.
For sure, man, and I appreciate you bringing that part of it up too, Jeff. Look, there's a lot of people, and I'll go ahead and I'll go there real quick. I tell our guys all the time, hey, you're Canes light. And I've told Jeff that. I tell him all the time, we're Canes light. That's facts. And until you do something that national team, that American team that Rob, you obviously had a huge part in for a long time. Until we do something on that scale, we're Canes light. And but also those kids getting to wear that Canes uniform now, knowing what it means, knowing the recognition, notoriety that comes with it now, they respect it. And they also know now with wearing that, there comes a little bit different responsibility, one, and then two, they know there's a goal now, and that's what I love, right? Like, I'm willing to sacrifice. I don't want to say sacrifice the success of what we call, our top team down here, we call premier team. And, and I think Jeff could attest to this. Just this past summer, man, National had to run into our premier team twice, and we played them pretty dang good. And, and had American down 5-0 through 5 innings. And no one could believe it, and including myself. And but our guys, they know what that National American team are, and it makes them play up a step like they do. When they know they're playing Jeff or they're playing myself or Tom Wilby on American, dude, they step it up a notch. And I think that's outstanding, right? Like, they know who they're playing. They know because of who they're playing. There's eyes in the stands. There's people there to watch. And even though they may not be there to see 23 dudes on our roster, and they might be there to see 23, 25 dudes on the national roster, they're going to get seen now. And, that's what this whole deal is, right, man? It's a piggybacking deal, man. You take what you can get in this deal. And so if it means, hey, man, I'm not one of these, PG 10-star grade guys that, 20 scouts are going to come out and see every game. But if I get to go play Canes National American where there's a team loaded with those type of guys, hey, man, I got a shot. So our guys understand that opportunity, wearing this jersey, what it does to elevate their potential to play the game beyond high school.
Well, and you're getting guys. You're getting guys that are committing to big time schools. It's not like not like your guys are going to Podunk
right.
They're going to Texas A&M. They're going to Houston. They're going they're going to some big time schools.
For sure.
Sure.
Here, not to interrupt you, but here's what I would say to that though. You guys have, you're the engine on the train right now, man. And I say that, and I like to say I am too now. I'm a part of it, and spending my first summer with American and National, and Jeff and Tom and Mills and these guys, and people see the bus and they see all the gear and whatever, and all that's great. And it's awesome. But what they don't see is a bunch of leadership and a bunch of dudes that are very, very good at baseball, that know how to harness and corral a player and turn him into and mold him into the I'm rambling here. Really what it is to me is that Jeff and you guys have been so involved with players that play at the highest of levels. You know exactly what you need to do to help that guy that you have going forward now get there too, because you've seen the mistakes that the previous kids have made, and you've seen the things that the kids that made it did, and you guys have had those experiences with those type of players. You have, to me, more knowledge to give a player that's like a borderline first rounder.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a guy, and that's what I've got to learn from this whole thing.
Dude, we're all learning.
Right. I mean,
go ahead, Jeff.
No, everyone talks about National American, whatever. We had 150 kids in the 2020 class sign Division I scholarships from our program. Like, that's not including yours. So, like, that's our North, South, Central, Mid-Atlantic, all that. 150 kids. So, let's just say you get $10,000 of scholarship money a year. That might be an average. That's a safe
that's
average.
Close. Yeah,
Those are higher. So $40,000 over 4 years times 150 is $6 million in scholarship money. And someone's going to be mad that the general manager of that business makes a little bit of money.
Right.
I mean, $6 million in one class.
Right.
Well, we talk. Some guy makes six figures or $100,000 or something in a year, and he was helped facilitate $6 million for one group of kids. And people are mad that someone's making money. I mean, me and Rob were just talking before you got on there, and it's not about the money. It's not. But we're talking about maybe having to dive in this summer and coach multiple teams because so many kids didn't get to play. We might try to get these high school kids out there. I mean, people are going to – me and Rob are talking about, hey, we'll put four of us on a 18U coaching staff, and we might have to rotate who's there on the weekend depending on where we're at with our clubs. And we'll wake up at 6 in the morning and coach 4 games in a day and eat Subway and go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, wake up next morning and do it again. Rob can't do that for free. I mean, I know you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't mean to get off on a money tangent.
No, you're right. I think, but
it's not all about the draft picks and finding a kid that can find the D3 fit. I played D2 ball.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's one part. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Anyways.
I think that's one part.
On this.
I think that's one part, Zach and Jeff, that a lot of people lose perspective about because they do see our national and American teams and guys that are getting first round draft picks. But, again, having 150 kids a year, I can understand with other organizations. I can. There's some great organizations out there. There's some not very good ones, and there's everybody in between. But I think the one thing that people don't see about us is that, and don't know about us because they don't know the history, is that our name and our brand was really built around all of our regional kids.
Well, another thing, and I'm not trying to interrupt you.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
I want you to finish what you're saying. So that 150 kids doesn't include, let's just say, the 50 kids that we did help get D3 fits.
Correct.
Or a preferred walk-on fit, or a D2 where they didn't get money fit, or a JUCO where so it's probably somewhere near 200. Now, we didn't get those kids money, but we did facilitate the fit.
Absolutely.
That means that we care.
Absolutely. Get guys to continue playing. Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that's part of what gets lost in all of this. And people, again, they see National American and they think, oh, well, that's all they care about. The biggest part of our organizations are our regional teams. And as you said, Zach, your premier team down there can go and compete with anybody else. We've had several deep runs into the World Wood Bat and Jupiter and Fort Myers in the fall with a regional team. I think it was I think it was Sebastian and Mazabal and Coles that took, beat several national teams on their deep run. I mean, every year we get one of our regional teams that do that. But the great part is you have dudes stashed in all those teams. You've got guys that can, are going to play in the ACC, SEC, Pac-10 that are on those regional teams. So I think what people need to really understand in the history of us as an organization is that, teams like yours that are coming from Texas, and I certainly understand dangling the carrot in front of them of National American and making an impact, but they are really kind of the backbone of what we do, because those kids, the phone just started ringing for some reason. But those are the backbones of what we do. Those are the kids that need help. The guy that's throwing 95 doesn't really need our help so much. Guidance here and there. I equate that to kind of like bowling. You put the bumpers up and make sure he stays within that guideline. But the guy that's throwing 83 that ends up going to Texas A&M after being with you for 3 years, that's huge,
no doubt,
in my opinion. And that's the guy where you make your money. You've earned everything that you make because you've helped that kid and you've guided him the whole way.
For sure.
I mean, and that's a lot of what our regional teams are, is helping those guys and then navigating the process.
Yeah, like what about these summer teams that these GMs of these summer collegiate teams? They making money?
I think so.
They selling concessions. They sell tickets to the games. They paying the coaches. They whatever.
Right.
I don't know how this got on this topic, but.
Hey, and that's all right. What people need to understand is this is real, right? This is something, I'm in our organization. I'm a coach. You guys are running organizations, and these are real things that you have to deal with. These are real. These are things that need to get out there because, Zach, I know you deal with this as running your organization. I know that stuff that is real stuff. People want something for nothing. And usually when that happens, you get what you pay for.
Nail on the head, brother. I mean, I'm sorry, but these, I don't want to get into the background of what I know about certain things about our club or whatever, because it remains between us. But the things that people don't know that Jeff, myself, you, Dan, the things that we do for kids to facilitate even a small opportunity, getting them across country when they can't afford it. We all do those things, and people don't know that. People don't know the things that we do on a personal level with our personal time and our personal money for some of these players. And I'm not saying we need the pat on the back, because that's what I think makes us great as men, right? Is we're willing to do that because we care about the program, we care about the kids. But I think that's the hard part to swallow sometimes, man. Is you're like, really, like I'm getting wiped out by this parent and blah 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 or whatever it is, but what we just have done for this player, like really, it's that's the part. That's, to me, man, that's the paradox of this whole travel ball deal, right?
Well, and you'll get up tomorrow and you'll do it again because
100%, right?
Because it's the right thing to do, and you're trying to help the kid, and that's important. I think it's super important, and that was really, when we talk about bringing our affiliates on and we talk about bringing our Canes coaches on, it's important to get that message out because, when they see us. I think our players are good with it, but when they see us in our players' face and we're helping them and coaching them and stuff like that, I think parents remember that part more so than, all the things you're doing to help pull them along. And again, at the end of the day, it's a 16, 17-year-old kid that needs a lot of guidance. He needs a lot of work. He's not a finished product. So it's awesome to hear that from you because I think that message needs to get out. I think that's something that people don't see behind the curtains. And again, they remember us just kind of yelling at Johnny for not, for tagging up on a ball that went off the wall. They don't see, all of the love. And
You're bringing that up again.
oh, I didn't mean
Like an open wound.
Hey, buddy. There's hundreds of times where you could bring that up about me. Oh man, that was a throwback to, gosh, which episode was that? Was that
JK 2009?
Yeah.
APD Bulldogs, which back then they were it. They had Christian Yelich and Tony Walters, and they were the number 1 seed, and we had them in the first round at East Cobb in the stadium under the lights. It's the top of the 7th. They're the home team. Tie ball game. We wouldn't have walked off on them, but Chad Pinder, who's in the big leagues now, hits a ball off the wall in right center field, and Parks Jordan goes.
Oh, you mentioned it.
He goes to tag at second base. I'm screaming, "Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!" He goes to tag. Well, I'm screaming at him. He makes it to third. I can't send him because they get the relay. I can't send him. Next guy punches out. Inning over. Then we go in the 7th. We got Dylan Maples going, who's in the big leagues. He's in the pen for the Cubs now. He carves them in the bottom of the 7th. Like, I think he struck out the side. We would have won. Then we go to that bases loaded tiebreaker thing. They score a run in the top of the 8th. No, we don't score in the top of the 8th. And then Yelich walks off on us in the bottom of the 8th. So if we don't tag up on that seat off the wall, we beat those guys. And back then, no one even really – people knew who we were, but that would have been a big, big upset in front of – there are more scouts there that night than fans.
Sorry to pull that pick at that.
I cry when that comes up.
Well, at least you can say it was Yelich that walked off, right?
I guess.
Yeah, right. So Zach, let's get into one more question and.
Sorry.
Oh no! This is all this, dude.
This is what happens.
This is what this show's for, man. Is to get these great stories out. Because I don't think kids, if you don't know history and you don't know baseball history, granted, this isn't that far in the past. You're talking, 12, 15 years. These guys that we're coaching now are going to be the guys we're talking about in 10, 12 years, big leaguers and stuff like that. Zach, what kind of growth plans do you guys have? What kind of future plans do you have? What kind of things are in the works maybe that you want to shed some light onto? I mean, I don't expect you to open up, everything, but where are you going? Zach, can you hear me?
Got you back right there.
All right, cool. What kind of growth plans you got? What kind of things are going on in the future for you? Don't expect you to, open up your whole bag of tricks, but what's going on? Where are you going?
Right now I live in Central Texas in Austin, man. So when we first started this, we were in Austin. Austin's kind of the smallest of the big cities in Texas. It's not the ideal place to grow, honestly, but we just made it happen, man. Again, between the branding power and then the relationships that I've had and the longevity, I think, of time that I've been doing this as well, man. I think that the combination of bringing Canes to Texas and myself, we did great in Austin. And so I had a longtime buddy, Jonathan Paez, actually started his high school program for him about 10 years ago. So Jonathan's actually my managing partner now down here. And, I kind of call him my Dan Gitson of Texas, man. He's an assassin, man. He gets it done. And so anyhow, we just realized I think like Dan and Jeff or whatever, for our program as Kane Southwest to get better, we needed to expand out of the Central Texas area. I think Jeff and Dan and you again and all you guys that have been part of Canes for a long time, you started to expand for, again, I'm sure multiple reasons, but one thing that benefited you guys was the ability to gain a little bit more access to players and to help more players. And so we wanted to grow our brand throughout the state of Texas. You know, Jeff and Dan have done it across the country, want to be with us and as part of that. And so we want to be able to really, you know, see it our way through the state. And so we went from Austin down south to San Antonio. It's been great. We went north into the DFW area. A lot of people see a lot of people that kind of know baseball, they've always kind of seen Houston, Texas as the kind of the mecca of baseball players. And it's changed a lot. The landscape has changed a lot. I mean, it's still Houston. It's still, you know, 8 million people, and it's still a lot of players. But right now there's this really weird changing of the guard, man, here in the state, where in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, man, right now the better coaches and better players are in that area. It just kind of is what it is, man. They get the more concentrated areas is Dallas-Fort Worth, and so we made our way into there. A former player of mine, Landon Cowser, junior college guy, LSU guy, decided that you know, he wanted to be a part of what we're doing, and bam, I mean, you know, Dallas exploded this past year. So, and then I'm from the East Texas area. I like to call it the real Texas. We went out into East Texas, and very different market out there, I can tell you that. You know, it's socioeconomically a little bit different area for sure. So we try to accommodate that the best we can, because we've got a ton of good players and athletes in that area. I mean, you know, East Texas is known as Beast Texas in Texas, because all your football players that you got, I mean, Pat Mahomes, East Texas guy, you know, I mean, Adrian Peterson, East Texas guy.
Before we get off this call, I am going to ask a question about high school football in Texas.
Oh yeah, man. It is what it is. But long story short, we did the expansion into San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, East Texas, and you know, hey man, putting everybody on notice right now, man. Don't edit this one out, Rob, because we are going to go to Houston, and we are going to make an impact there.
Got to.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, you're getting the right guys too. You know, it's not, you know, you're obviously the right guy that's in charge of that, but you're getting great guys. You know, again, baseball's about relationships, and it's about having those relationships and being able to employ those relationships. You know, be able to get your guy to move into Dallas-Fort Worth. It's be able to get the right guy to be around you. And that's one thing, you know, and I've talked about it before, you know, with Jeff's done a great job of getting, you know, really solid people around him like you that help for the greater good. I mean, you're only as good as the people around you, and Jeff's done a great job of that as a leader, Jeff. And Dan, you know, getting Dan and Dan doing the same thing, you know, making sure you got the right people in the right spot. Jeff, I'm kind of itching for a football question too, so go ahead and.
Yeah, I know we're running short on time, but I want somebody to answer the question that actually has lived it and seen it with his own eyes. I've never seen it actually in person. You hear these stories, like you see like Cowboy Stadium sold out for a high school state championship game. What are like these towns like? Is it true? Like, do they shut down on Friday nights and like everyone piles in? Like, is this like, paint the picture a little bit?
I would be 100% honest, especially in East Texas, where I'm from. So it's a lot of smaller towns, the 3 and 4A schools. In Texas, we have a 6A, right? So we've got schools with 5,000 kids in it. I mean, you've got Allen, South Lake Carroll, you know, Lake Travis, Westlake. I mean, we have some unbelievably large schools. But when you get into more of those small town, East Texas, West Texas, a little bit more rural area, no doubt about it, man. It's no myth. It's not fake, man. I mean, you know, you got Hendersons and your Gilmers and Jacksonvilles and Marshall and
like Odessa. That was a cool movie.
What's that?
That movie with Odessa.
Oh yeah, Friday Night Lights, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the guys that I played with in college, again,
the ball.
One of the guys I played with actually played at Odessa Permian. He was a coach there. Yeah.
If you want to win, give Booby the ball.
That's right.
Well, the Mojo deal that was Friday Night Lights and Odessa Permian football, man, it's not what it was, but there's still so much. There's still so much history. I mean, from Odessa Permian and that era of football. So they're not what they were, man. But I mean, it's still, you get to play Permian.
Yeah.
That's a neat deal for sure. So, but yeah, we shut it down sometimes, Jeff. Man, they shut the doors. They lock.
We may have to go out there for that, buddy.
I think that's a bucket list for me. I think.
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely.
I've tried talking to you in the Texas several times.
That's probably going to be like a fourth quarter deal for me, meaning the fourth quarter of my life.
Right.
Where it's like, I think I need to check off my list, this Friday night football thing in Texas. I need to get on a plane on a Thursday and get there and make it happen.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So Zach, man, this has been awesome because, get to know you a little bit more. I know we've talked several times, but I think it opens up the curtain a little bit. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to, want to get our affiliates on so they can tell their story a little bit. What we will definitely do is get you back on again right when we get closer to the season, when we find out a little bit more. That way we can get in a little bit more about American and national and stuff like that, talk about some of those players. But also we'll get you back on so that you can talk about your Kane Southwest guys, guys to look forward to. We'll get updates from you on the weekends because this show, that's originally what we were starting, is going to be something on maybe like a Tuesday, Thursday where we can get player updates and you can brag on some guys.
I think that's kind of what we're hoping for is at least once a month in the summer, hop on here and talk about some players.
Yeah. So keep your schedule free. I know there's plenty of time now. but you know what I wanted everybody to learn
about players in June and July on here. August,
right. I know, right? So one thing I wanted everybody to know and about our affiliates is a lot of things that you talked about today. And I want them to see you and how you run things and to see how well you fit in with our family because, as I said, we've kind of dipped our toe in a couple markets and may or may not work out, but that haven't worked out. But with you, I think we hit a home run in Texas. We got a great guy, we got a great program, and it comes from the leadership from you. So, we really appreciate you. We love how you fit in with our family. You ever need anything, I'm all the way in Virginia, but anything I can do to help you out, buddy, we're here as resources. I know you got Dan, who's a phenomenal leader, and you got Jeff, who's a phenomenal leader. I know you coach with Willoughby, who's an awesome coach and awesome leader and been around here a long time, probably best hair in the country. But
guy's got good hair.
Got good hair, man. But you know what? You've been awesome today, and thank you so much for coming on. You are a part of the family, and we don't take that lightly. I know you guys say don't mess with Texas, well, we say don't mess with our family. So, thank you so much for thank you so much for being with us, buddy. Stay safe out there. Take care of your family, and keep praying for some baseball here soon.
Enjoyed it, guys.
All right, Jeff. Take care. Bye, Zach.
See you guys.
Bye.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us today. Big shout out to Zac Senf for joining us. What a great guest. If you enjoyed this episode, help us out. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, review, and share. Give us a follow on social media at CaneCast Show. You can reach out to me on all social channels at Rob Younce or email me directly at robyounce@gmail.com. You can find Jeff Petty on social media channels at WJeffPetty. Give him a follow. We welcome your feedback as we look to improve the show every single episode.